Turn off the lights tonight and just stand still for a moment. Notice what happens. Your eyes strain, your ears sharpen, your heart beats just a little faster. Nothing changed in the room, but your brain is suddenly on high alert. Why? Why does darkness, the simple absence of light, make us feel exposed, vulnerable, watched? Why do millions of people, even grown adults, still feel a quiet unease when the lights go out? This isn't childish. This isn't irrational. This fear is ancient, older than cities, older than language, older than humanity itself. Because for most of our history, the dark was where death lived, and a part of your brain still remembers that. Have you ever felt that little shiver run down your spine when you turn off the lights? Or maybe your heart beats just a little faster when you walk down a dark street at night? You're not alone. This fear of the dark, technically known as nyctophobia, is one of the most common fears in the world. But why? Why are so many of us, even as adults, a little bit scared of what we can't see? It turns out this fear isn't just some random quirk. It's a deep-seated, evolutionary survival instinct. Let's travel back in time, way back, to when our ancestors lived in the wild. For them, nighttime was genuinely dangerous. The dark wasn't just empty, it was full of predators. Lions, tigers, bears, you name it. These animals were often nocturnal, meaning they were most active at night, right when our ancestors' primary sense, their vision, was practically useless. Imagine you're one of our early human ancestors. The sun goes down, and suddenly you can't see what's rustling in the bushes just a few feet away. Is it the wind, a harmless rabbit, or is it a saber-toothed cat getting ready to pounce? That feeling of uncertainty, that lack of information, triggers a fear response. Your body goes into high alert, your heart pumps faster, your senses sharpen, and adrenaline floods your system. This is the classic fight or flight response. In the dark, flight was often the best option. Those who were more cautious, more fearful of the dark, were more likely to survive the night and pass on their genes. So, in a way, that little bit of fear you feel is a gift from your ancestors, a survival mechanism that has been hardwired into our brains for millions of years. Now, let's fast forward a bit. Our fear of the dark isn't just about what might be there, it's also about our psychology. Our brains are pattern recognition machines. They love to make sense of the world around us. When we're in a well-lit room, our brain gets a constant stream of visual data. It sees a chair, a table, a lamp. It knows what's there and what isn't. But in the dark, that visual data disappears. Our brain is left with a void, and it absolutely hates that. So what does it do? It starts to fill in the blanks. That pile of clothes in the corner of your room, your brain, trying to make sense of the shadowy shape, might briefly interpret it as a person standing there. The creak of the floorboards, it must be footsteps. This phenomenon is called pareidolia, the tendency to see patterns, like faces, in random stimuli. It's the same reason we see shapes in clouds. In the dark, our imagination goes into overdrive, often conjuring up the scariest possible scenarios, because from an evolutionary perspective, it's safer to assume the worst. It's better to be spooked by a coat rack than to be surprised by an actual intruder. This ties into our fear of the unknown. Darkness is the ultimate unknown. It conceals, it hides, and it removes our ability to control and understand our environment. Humans crave control. When we can't see, we feel vulnerable, exposed, and helpless. This loss of control can be deeply unsettling and can trigger significant anxiety. As we grow from children into adults, this fear of the dark often changes. For a child, the fear of the dark is very literal. They might believe monsters are hiding under the bed or in the closet. Their active imaginations, combined with this innate fear, create a very real sense of danger. That's why a nightlight can be so comforting. It pushes back the darkness just enough to give them a sense of security. As we get older, most of us learn that monsters aren't real. Our rational brain takes over. We understand that the house is empty and the doors are locked. However, the underlying primal fear doesn't just vanish, it simply transforms. For adults, the fear might not be about monsters, but about more realistic threats. A dark alley isn't scary because of a goblin, but because of the potential for a mugging. A dark, empty house feels creepy because of the possibility of a break-in. The object of our fear becomes more sophisticated, but the root cause, the vulnerability that comes with not being able to see, remains the same. Culture also plays a huge role in shaping our fear of the dark. Think about it. In countless stories, movies, and fairy tales, darkness is associated with evil, danger, and bad things. The villain almost always lurks in the shadows. Haunted houses are always dark and spooky. This constant cultural reinforcement strengthens our natural-born fear. We are taught from a young age that darkness is where the scary things happen. Our brains create a strong association. Dark equals danger. So every time we're in the dark, that cultural programming kicks in alongside our evolutionary instincts. But can we overcome this fear? Absolutely. The key is exposure and understanding. The more we understand why we're afraid, the less power the fear has over us. We can recognize that the pounding heart and the spooky thoughts are just our ancient brain's overprotective alarm system. One common technique used in therapy is gradual exposure. This means slowly and safely spending more time in low light or dark environments to teach your brain that nothing bad is going to happen. It's about recalibrating that ancient alarm system. Simple things can help too. Using night lights, practicing mindfulness and deep breathing exercises to calm the nervous system when you feel anxious, and ensuring your sleeping environment feels safe and secure can make a big difference. It's about reclaiming control from that primal part of your brain and reminding yourself that in our modern world, the dark is usually just dark. It's fascinating, isn't it? That feeling you get in the dark is a direct link to our earliest human ancestors, a whisper from the past telling us to be careful. It's a complex mix of evolution, psychology, and culture, all rolled into one common human experience. The dark doesn't actually hold any monsters. The only monsters are the ones our own minds create to fill the void. By shining a light on the reasons behind our fear, we can begin to see the darkness not as something to be afraid of, but simply as an absence of light. So, the next time you find yourself feeling a little uneasy in the dark, take a deep breath. Remember the millions of years of evolution that have made you this way. Acknowledge the feeling, thank your ancient brain for trying to keep you safe, and then turn on the light. Thanks so much for watching. What are your thoughts on the fear of the dark? Do you have any stories or experiences to share? Let us know in the comments below.